Since I got a question on how I made my profile picture for my YouTube, like my current one that you're looking at right now, I'm going to make a little tutorial on how I did that. It's not going to look exactly the same because I had to redo it and remake it and go off of memory, but yeah, let's get into that. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get a clip, an image that you want, and use the masking tool you can that is available to anybody who has CapCut. And when you click that mask, click on the circle and make sure it's inverted. Get it centered to how you like. You can even feather it to make it have kind of like a vignette effect to it if you want to. I personally didn't for this. Again, I was just trying to go off of based on what I remembered, but it kind of like has that vignette effect if you really like that. But anyway, once you have that added, just adjust the size that you want and get the pictures that is needed, like the overlays and the effects, like whatever you use. I have all my pride flags and the applications that I use to edit and create content with. So for the two main flags that I had for my profile picture, for the circled like outline, I had my pansexual pride flag and my Aroes flag. And I kind of did the same thing that I did with the original profile picture by using the masking tool and have that like circle around it. And I made sure that it was centered or attempted to. You're going to see me crash out a lot while doing this. I made sure it was centered, tried to make everything even, and so on and so forth to have it be uh, around the profile picture. And after I did that with my pansexual pride flag, I went ahead and did the same thing with my, what did I say, a romantic flag, after I had that adjusted, which you were going to see me crash out attempting to do as well. Not a aromantic, aroes. I'm fucking stupid. If the layers are being difficult, like they were currently being here, you can click on the layer feature and put what I did was put my ROS flag over my pansexual flag. And essentially, I did the same thing with the mask, inverted it, adjusted it. But for this one, I had to put it near, like, the little circle near the end of the flag. So it would kind of add, like, that split half and half section to where I had one half being my pansexual flag and then the other half being my Aroes. Because those are my two main identities alongside literally everything else. And having those two in the mix, yeah, I'm not sure what else to add for commentary. I had to adjust it, fix it, tweak it, because it was being fucking stupid. And after I had the little circle effect where it was supposed to go and the flag in its respective spot, I went ahead and moved on to the other things like my logo, the YouTube logo and the CapCut logo, and then my other flags. I have far too many. So I'm just gonna fast forward and get to that and stop yapping. So after I had everything where they needed to go, I went ahead and moved my other flags over to where they needed to go, being my Aeroflux, Aceflux, Asexual, and Aromantic flag. For these ones, I used the little, kind of like how I did with the circle, but instead of using a circle, because that's basic as all hell, I used the star cutout for my asexual and no, for my ace flux and aeroflux, and the heart cutout for my aromantic and asexual flag. Because I'm quirky like that. I'm special. And I actually used the feather effect for the hearts and the stars because they just looked better. And I had the feather up to at least I think 34 is what I put it on, and did the same thing with the ace with the heart because They're part of the same spectrum, and I had to have them match because it would have pissed me off if I didn't. So I did that, adjusted the size, feathered it out, kind of like tilted it a little bit to kind of, because things don't have to be even all the time except for numbers, and added that right next to my little aromatic flag. So they looked aesthetically pleasing, at least to me. And after I had that right where I wanted it, again, I was going off of memory on how I made this like earlier this morning because I don't remember how I did it exactly. So you're going to have to bear with me here. But after I did this, I added my ace flux, apparently. It gets mistaken for the lesbian flag, but that's besides the point. I added my ace flux flag with the star because I'm trying to be the what's the word I'm looking for? Unique here. I did the same thing I essentially did with my aromantic and asexual flag with the feathering, the sizing, making sure all of the colors were in the star. I tilted it a little, trying to get the axis to look nice, and added it to like the opposite side of where my aromantic and asexual flags were to kind of keep them correlated, but at the same time not. And since I thought in my thought process, I was like, oh, since asexual and aromantic are in the same spot, I should keep them as like hearts. And since ace flux and arrow flux are both fluctuating sexualities, I should just keep them as stars. And with my arrow flux, I decided to put it alongside the ace flux as a star because I'm special, I'm thinking outside of the box. And after I did that, there's this lovely thing that I did with my with the YouTube logo and the CapCut logo. See, they were PNGs, they came as PNGs, and meaning they have backgrounds that were kind of not supposed to be there. So I'm going to show you a little trick that I did after adjusting my flags, because in order to get this, you have to have Pro, which while I do have CapCut Pro, I'm also using this in like a video editing format, and I didn't want this saved as a video. So like I was going to screenshot it anyway. So for all my little peeps who don't have CapCut Pro, this is for you. This is going to be hopefully be a little help so you can, if you want a profile picture that has something but you have to remove the background for something and you don't have Pro, just use the video editing format. Trust me, it works. So anyway, after that, the little thing that I did with my CapCut logo, you have to go to remove background, and as you see with the remove background thing, if you want to remove the background, it has that little diamond, which means it's, go fucking figure, CapCut Pro. And as a template creator, I do have it by default, but then again, it's not about me right now. I removed the background for it and did the exact same with my YouTube logo. The white play button in the middle also disappeared, but that's besides the point. That doesn't necessarily matter. I removed the background because the backgrounds are hideous and they take up far too much space. So be gone with thou. And I put it right next to my CapCut logo because, I edit on CapCut and upload to YouTube. I'm only on YouTube. So for those of you who have seen any content on like TikTok, no. And after that, I started to edit my picture by tweaking just a few things at first before adding like filters and like effects on how, yeah, like effects on how I would normally do on an edit. But some of them do work for pictures, as seen here later on. After tweaking what I needed to do, I went to the effects section, clicked video effects, and used the sharpen. Used the sharpen one because it adds like a nice blur effect if you know how to work it right. And for this one, it's a little more oversaturated than my actual profile picture. But again, I'm going off of memory here. And then I used the luminous Lumos, that is a Harry Potter spell, for like a glow effect to kind of add it, like be a heavenly effect, and then lowered the saturation just a little bit to have it be less oversaturated. And then the for another thing that I added for that little rim that you see in my profile picture as well, I added a little sticker that kind of adds like a, because it does add Alistair's vibe, or from what the profile picture looked, it matches his vibe. So I had to add it. And all you have to do is go to the stickers, search up circle, and it should be fairly easy to find. It should be like a golden-ish one. And after you find that, what I did to have it outline my profile picture. I'm sorry for yapping. I'm not good at commentary. Bear with me here. I just clicked it, adjusted it to the size that I needed, and tried to position it to make sure it covered the let like the circle that is already around my profile picture. I made sure it covered it to the best extent to where it doesn't completely show where the profile picture ends and like the pride flags begin. And I just copied, edited, adjusted, copied, edited, adjusted until it looked okay, which is why the rim is just a little thicker than the sticker is. But then again, you can find any other like circular sticker or something that you want to add to the profile picture if you want to. Be my guest. This is just how I did it since a certain somebody asked. And after adjusting all of that, we move on to the next thing. I'm going to skip this part so you don't see me crashing out with the adjustments here. Moving on from the internal torment of me trying to get my profile picture to work, I got the outline. And I had to add my little Alistair logo. I forgot while screen recording this that the logo is in all caps and not lowercase, but that's besides the point. I used the built-in thing that I have for like emoticons to use the little heart sticker since I don't have it built in to my phone, and just adjusted it and centered it as needed. And after I did that, I accepted it, clicked that little expand thing in the corner, and took a screenshot of the picture there and put it as my profile picture so I could export it without having CapCut Pro. Anyway, that's all that I needed to explain. And for the person who wanted me to show this, we here. This primarily because you wanted a tutorial, and here's your tutorial. Anyway, I'm going to end this here. Thank you all for joining the live stream. That was earlier, by the way. I thank you all for those who did. And until next time, and stay tuned, my darling has been family.